for having me. This is pretty cool. I wish my business partner was here. He's the one with the great story. I'll try and share it as much as I can. You know, in the leadership class last year, he's told the story so many times, but that was the first time in a while I saw him get so emotional about it. It's a great story. I won't do it justice, but I'll try. But anyway, I'll do my little spiel. As some of you all know, I run with some of the casino people, their golf tournaments and stuff. And I had a mutual friend give me a call, and she said, "Hey, you remember Jake?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "He wants to talk to you about something." And I said, "Okay." And so he calls, and he goes, "I got a business proposal for you." I said, "Okay." So he drives up, we meet at Vortex, and we start to talk, and he presents his business plan about opening a brewery. And I'm like, well, I like beer. So I'm good at two things, golf and beer, and so that's what I do. But he makes this pitch, and I just loved it. A lot of it had to do with his dad. Him and his dad were best friends. They started brewing beer together when they were 12 years old, when he was 12, not his dad. But and he used to, Jake was a little kid, you know, doing stuff like we used to, be ornery when his dad would brew stuff, and he would throw stuff in there. And instead of his dad getting mad like my dad would, his dad would be like, "Okay, I'm going to show you why you don't do that." And so that's how they developed this bond of brewing beer. He learned how to make all these great recipes, which we now make at the brewery. And Jake is he's taken what he learned from his father and has expanded it, and literally has become one of the better brewers in the state. And we've been fortunate enough, we've won the best beer competition in both Tulsa and Oklahoma City. So we are making a name for ourselves. We are 3.5 years in now. 1 year into our own place. We are in Automobile Alley in Oklahoma City, and at 1 Northeast 7th Street, if anybody wants to come by. We used to brew at the Brewers Union for 2.5 years. It was a little co-op place on Meridian, and we got fortunate enough we found the right location for the right price, and here we are. We were just voted one of the top 5 breweries in the state, which is funny because as of now, I believe there's 85 breweries in the state of Oklahoma. There is still more breweries in Albuquerque, New Mexico than there is in the whole state of Oklahoma. So we're getting there. Our archaic laws are changing with the help of Bill Coleman and guys like that. So you're starting to see a lot of places pop up, you know, Vortex. You've got Iron Monk and Stillwater and things like that. But for us, we've been fortunate enough, been lucky enough to tell our story, to tell Jake's story through beer. I'm a big believer that everybody's got a story to tell, and everybody just tells it differently. So, Jake, we are the only distributed native brewery in the state. We are using that as a great way to expand our business. We've been very fortunate to get some, nice loans from the government. COVID almost wrecked us, but we had the initiative, Jake and the staff, that we would, during COVID, when everything was closed, we would go announce on Facebook that we would have pop-up locations, and people would drive to us to pick up our beer. And that's the only way we maintained during COVID. So it was a great idea, great business idea, and that led us to getting financial support and opening up our place. So we do brew different types of beer. Our main beer that we brew is an IPA. It's called Fancy Dance. It's our #1 seller. That's the one that's a stable across the state. You can find it at the Paycom Center. Odie's has it here. We're starting to sell here. We're at Old West and Ponca Plaza. So we're in the restaurants. Man, I miss Ground Round. We were always very good there. But not only do we brew IPAs, we brew stouts and sours. And going along with our native tone, we're very proud of our labels that we print. And they're all made from different native artists that we have. This is our latest one. It's called Timmy. It's a stout. And there's a Choctaw master artist named D.G. Smalling that created this one for us. The one that drew this, what's his name? You put me on the spot. Jim Dakin. He's a former OU football player. So he drew that one for us. So our labels are very distinguishable. You can see them on the shelf. They stand out. We do things a little bit differently. We only have 3 core beers that we produce. Fancy Dance, which is our IPA. Res Dog, which is our blonde, light, summery beer that you drink around the pool or play golf. And then Indian Time, which is our amber. So as you can tell, they're all native trade. But we release a new beer every week, every Friday. And so that's why we get all these different cans. You know, this is always going to be one of my favorite. Want to be gangster? It's a Yankee IPA, which means it's West Coast. I don't want to get into all the explanations of beer, but it's earthy tones. How's that? East Coast is citrusy, fruity, hazy. West Coast is the bitter, earthy tones. So I never used to drink an IPA. I was always a Coors guy. And now I can't drink a Coors. I have to have something like that. But we are in talks right now. Jake has been talking to some businesses about expanding. Everybody's starting to expand. You've seen Stone Cloud move into Stillwater. Cabin Boys in Tulsa is expanding to 2 new locations. Who knows where we're going to be? But so far, you know, being a year into business at our own place, I like where we're at. The one thing that I love is that I do have that Skydance has a tie to Ponca City because we were created here. It was actually the guys at Vortex were the first ones to have the beer. Jake brought his award-winning oatmeal stout to try. I didn't know what it was. We went to the back room where they brew their beer, and there was 8 of us back there, and Jake gave them all samples, and they drank, and I didn't take a drink of it because I wanted to see their reaction. And when their eyes lit up, and they're like, "This is good beer," that's when I bought in. So that's my little story to tell. But when Jay gets here, hopefully shortly, it's a good story. Are there any questions? He had a big PowerPoint presentation. I promised it was going to be longer, but yes, Jan.
Not really a question, but I know you had some struggles getting the building open too.
Boy, did we? Yeah, we went back and forth with the construction company. The red tape in Oklahoma City is tough. The requirements that were needed, I think it was like we were the first business to ever open a brewery down there because all the regulations we had to abide by, the other breweries didn't. So it made it difficult, but we got it open. So it's a beautiful facility. It's nothing like, I'm very proud of our tap room. Jake's fiance, Bobby, was the sole designer of everything, and we made it feel more like a cigar bar type environment. We have leather seating. We have multiple zones, as we call it. Upstairs is called the Eagle's Nest, where you can look down and watch us brew or can or do whatever we do in the back. And we rent that out a lot for businesses because that's where they have their meetings, and it's quiet up there. And then we have our patio, which every brewery needs to have a patio. It's just, there's nothing like sitting outside on a nice afternoon, evening, and having a beer. And then we have a little seating area with the big TV for people that want to watch, the soccer. And then we have our open air seating, like all the other tap rooms. But we have 18 seats around our bar. You can sit down and just hang out. We have a great staff. I can't brag about my staff enough. They're personal and they know their beer, and it's fun to hear them interact. So, but we still have some problems with a couple things at the building, but Ford Construction Company's working with us, so we're almost done with all that stuff after a year. Yes, sir.
How many employees do you have?
We have one assistant brewer. Bobby is our director of operations. Jake is our CEO, and then we have 5 bartenders. So, and we pay our bartenders well. We go out and find them. We feel that if they fit our mold and they can interact and they can talk the beer talk, then we're going to pay you for it. So we pay more than anybody else. They keep all their tips. We're open 7 days a week. No other breweries like that. We are open until we decide to close. You know, we post that we close at 11, but if we got a full crowd, we'll stay open. We don't care. So we open 11 o'clock every day unless there's soccer matches, football games, and then we'll open early. We make micheladas on Sundays. We have a beer that's pineapple jalapeno called Trickster, and it's great with the michelada beer, with the salted rim and everything, so that's very popular on the weekends. We have a place called the Parlor next door to us. It's a concept. It's got 2 bars, 2-story, 2 bars, and 7 food concepts. So we're always telling people, we don't have food. We don't want to do anything with food. So they bring it over, or we always have food trucks. So food trucks do really well with us. So yes.
Well, I want to commend you. It's more of a statement on thinking outside the box during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
Your pop-ups to make sure that you're successful.
Yeah.
That's what all good businesses do.
Yeah.
When there's a challenge, how can we address it and keep moving forward?
Yeah. I know of 4 breweries that closed down permanently because of COVID. And, you know, we didn't have our own place. We weren't like Stone Cloud or Rough Tail, you know, so we had to go find business. And, you know, Facebook is amazing. But we would just sit there and say, okay, today we're going to be in Moore at 23rd and whatever. And we'd take 50 cases of beer and we'd bring back 2 maybe. We're brewing all the time. Jake did a double brew yesterday, and he didn't get out of there until 1 o'clock this morning. So I don't know why I got off that comment you just did, but it seems we're trying to find the niche to be filled like we did with COVID. So we listen to people when they come in and say, well, what about this idea for a beer? And Jake will do his magic with it and make up the recipe, and he comes up with these. So, what else?
So do you have any future plans?
Oh, yeah. You know, obviously, being native owned, we are looking at getting into the WinStars, the Choctaw Durant, the new resorts in Broken Bow. Rock and Brews has been fantastic with us. Seven Clans, you know, local, have been just amazing. Osage has approached us now because of their brewery has gone defunct. So that's how we're expanding. As far as another location, yeah, I see us doing something soon. So.
In Ponca City?
No, we're not gonna. I want to give Vortex all the credit that they have. I don't ever want to impede on Vortex. Those guys are amazing. They're my dear friends, and I don't ever want to compete against them. So.
And they were trailblazers.
Yes, they were.
What they've done.
Yeah. Did they not win the concept? Is that how they created Vortex? They won the pitch off. How cool is that? And look, I mean, now look at the place. It's fantastic. It's definitely one of the highlights of Ponca City, I think. So it's a destination point. So we actually had, they actually had a gentleman, a guy on Instagram, his name's the Intoxicated Traveler. He's got a huge following. And he actually flew in to specifically go to Vortex because they've developed a friendship over Instagram. And he flew in and just loved it. So got a big highlight thing. I follow him. He's really good. He's hilarious. So it's Intoxicated Traveler. He's from Upper Washington. That's how and he flew out here. So it was good. I mean, he visited a lot of other breweries. So he Vortex guys, I love them. I love being there. That's like my second home. So what else is there? I'm going to go over a couple styles of the beers that we made. I don't know if you can. This is our latest release. This is Timmy. It's our stout. It's an imperial. It's 13%. So don't drink it first. So it's good around the campfire. If you're hanging out, Jake's stout have just become my favorite thing. So I love this time of year. It's stout season. It's the dark drinks. It's pours like molasses. So but it's so good to drink. So Jake started a line called Juice Whips, and it's a milkshake IPA. It actually tastes like a milkshake. It's got lactose in it, so that's a reason for the milkshake taste. This was peaches and cream. We've had 5 of them now. Pineapple. We had one that tasted like orange sherbet. That was really popular. So that's just another one of the different beers that he makes.
Can you get that at Old West?
No, not anymore, because like I said, we do a special release and then it's gone. So we try not to. We haven't duplicated a recipe yet, but we've had such response on a couple of them that I think we're going to, because they're so popular. This is our release the week before. It's our DDH double dry hop fancy dance with Nectron hops in it. It tastes like nectarines. So if you like nectarines, there's your citrus. There we go. Sours. I'm not a sour guy, but this is pretty good. It's a margarita sour. So if you like margaritas, move to. I'm sorry.
I can't hear you. Well, Facebook can't, but I can.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
that's okay. Can you hold that?
Yep.
Okay. You're tall. And just put that right there in your.
Sure.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay. I'll do it this way. Maybe. My favorite beer that they've ever brewed from our anniversary day. If you guys have seen me play golf, this is called Investor Guy. I wear loudmouth pants. I dress very poorly when I play golf. It hides my golf game because I'm not very good. But it was a hazy IPA, and that was a special release. And then our wannabe Dankster. We got a lot of feedback on this because of how cool the logo was and the name. So people not only like the beer, they like the name, they like the concept. So when we intertwine it all together, usually our Fridays for our release parties, Friday at 5 o'clock, we're packed because everybody's wanting to come in and see it. Like, we do have a great location. Like I said, it's an automobile alley. We're right by the Metropolitan Apartments. So that's a big plus. We get all those young OCU law students and things like that. They come over and they sit around and they study and they drink our beer. We do have live music, usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We have, there's a police officer named Sean Prophet for OKC that plays every Thursday night. Man, that guy's good. He's really good. So we always try and have something going on to get that crowd to come to our place. We're surrounded by 4 other breweries, so if you ever come down, you can do a brewery tour. We're 200 feet from Prairie, Vanessa House, Elk Valley, Twisted Spike. We're all just right there together. You know, people are like, well, why did you do that? People do brewery tours. I mean, we'll have buses pull up, 20 people come in, and they have their 2 drinks, and then they go on the next spot. So the guys that, I think the breweries that try and become standalone, they're too far away from things. I think that hurts them. So, the process of beers going from when we start the grains to the day we tap it. Someone was asking me that earlier. It all depends. Fancy Dance takes 3 weeks to ferment. So, and we always have to brew it. We have 3 30-barrel tanks, which produces about 300 cases of beer. And we have to keep that one fully loaded. I mean, the moment we can Fancy Dance, we're brewing it the next morning and doing a double batch. So that's what Jake did yesterday. So some of them take 10 days, some of them take 3 weeks. We have 8 whiskey barrels full of stouts right now that have been sitting for 10 months, and they're going to sit for about 5 more. And it's the bourbon barrel stouts that everybody hears about. So what we did is we went to like Buffalo Trace, and we bought their old barrels, and we fill it with stouts, so the bourbon that's still left in there seeps into the beer. Yeah, it's delicious. So I'm excited for that one. This is our first run for the bourbon barrels, so, and it takes a while, but it's well worth it.
When you do your new releases every Friday, so with the new releases, there label design with each one.
Mm-hmm.
So every Friday you have a new sort of label.
Yep.
Or beer.
Yeah. And it just depends on what line we're doing. So, I don't even know what this week is. I'm trying to remember what the release is. But like our native artist, we tried to do every other week because we want them all to be together for the 4-pack series. Juice Wolves will probably be coming up. I'm going to say that's coming up next because it's been a while. It really just, it depends on the market, the feedback we get on what we're going to release, what we brew, because we have to plan it a month out because we have to order all the grains and then brew it and then get the cans, get the labels, which we use A+ Printing here in Ponca for our labels. So they do a great job. And so it takes we plan things 3 months out. So, and if you think about it, I mean, that's 12 beers we got to create. So we're always trying to stay on our toes with that. You got to be on top of it.
So what does a planning session look like? When you guys are planning out your beers and your labels, like brainstorming? To me, I think it would be super fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me, it is. So actually, I wish Natalie was here because we owe her a brew. She bought a brewery thing from us, and I know she wants to do a sour, but she hasn't told us what she wants. But we'll sit there. We have a guy named...
Decide what she wants.
Sure.
I mean, I think I'm her plus one, so.
Yeah, you are, actually. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm not, I'm done.
I like that too. But our planning session, because there's a guy named John Knight who runs Mint Apparel, and he's an artist and he's off the wall and he's so good. He's designed most of these labels, and so we'll make a pitch. He comes up with the concept of the label, and then we kind of work around the label and the beer together to make it match, to make it come out like that. He'll send 4 or 5 designs. What do you think of this? Some of them have been really crazy, off the wall, but you know what? Those stand out. People come in, they see our cooler right behind the register, and they're like, ooh, what's that one? we had one 3 weeks ago called Silly Serpent, and it had a cool snake on it. People loved it. So our marketing team, which is Jake and Bobby, and sometimes me, we post things on Facebook where we can bring the label to life. We had one called the Magic Dragon, and it was actually a dragon that flew into the can and then became the label. So that was really popular. We are probably the most understaffed brewery right now for what we do and how much we sell. But it's because Bobby is very particular on how things need to be run. And it's amazing what else she does. And she has not taken a day off since we opened until yesterday when she became a grandmother. So she had to drive to Arkansas. But her and Jake are such a good team. I think that they literally talk beer 24/7, even in their sleep. Jake will pitch it to her, Bobby will pitch it to him, and that's how things get rolling. What do you think about this? So I think that's how we started. What do you think about this? Yeah. It's beer. I love it. So
how many different grains do you use?
it all depends. Our stouts, we'll put 3,000 pounds worth of grains into our auger to go to our to go into the mill. So and when we do a double brew, that's 5,000 pounds. So it just all depends. And ordering is so difficult now because you have shortages of some things, so you're trying to find, the right hops and the right grains and the right malts, and so it's tough. The aluminum shortage is really tough. So we actually had to do away with our pre-shrunk label cans because they couldn't do it anymore. So now we just make the labels, like I said, at A+ Printing, and we just throw them through our machine, and it spins it on. So it's a cool process. If you guys are ever around when we can, it's a lot of fun. I like it because when we have something called a low fill, which if you have a 16-ounce can and it only fills up to 14 ounces, you can't put that in a liquor store. So it becomes mine. so I'm glad there's a hotel close.
Where do you source your raw materials?
So are you talking about like our spent grains and stuff that we use? We have a farmer that comes in from Guthrie, and he feeds his livestock. So he gets our grains, and he gets old cookies from a bakery down the street. So those cows and pigs are well fed.
And then what do you guys, when you get your, the grains that you use for your product, where do you get it from local Oklahoma farmers, or how do you get it?
No, we actually get them from Washington. So we use the hops up in Washington. I guess, I haven't been up there yet, but I guess there's one just across the border now that makes hops in Kansas. So I haven't seen any hops in Oklahoma that I know of. So, but if they got it, we'll use them. So we believe in Oklahoma. So we don't want to go outside of Oklahoma for years. So we don't want to be in Arkansas, Texas, Kansas. How many of you all are familiar with all the breweries like Rough Tail, Stone Cloud? Okay. So Rough Tail makes the #1 brewery or beer in the state for craft beer, and it's called Everything Rhymes with Orange, Burwell. So from what I understand, they sold their rights to that to a group out of Dallas. So they tried to distribute in Dallas. Well, nobody in Texas is going to drink Oklahoma beer. They drink their Texas beer. So it almost crumbled. So they had to get a loan, buy back their rights, and now, they're probably #2 in the state, #3. It's a fantastic brewery. So that's why we don't want to go outside of Oklahoma. Our market's here. We feel like we have a captive audience. We have a story to tell with our labels about Oklahoma. So that's why we're proud of it. Yes?
I do think that would be successful outside of Oklahoma because it's native.
Yes.
And people really embrace the native concept in all states.
I would,
So I think,
Yeah.
you know, you're not just like Rich Cantillon beer, you know, from Oklahoma. I mean, you
Right.
tell a story.
yep.
And so I think it could be a little different.
I would say, and I agree with that. And I would say because of that, our next move will probably be New Mexico. So they have a native brewery over there called Bow and Arrow. It's the original native brewery in the nation. It's a fantastic place. They make great beer. We actually did a collaboration with them last summer called Native Land, and it went really well. So, but it's still years to come. I'm still blown away that we have a brewery. You know, it's neat. It's neat to open up on Facebook and you see all these great responses. We started a membership, which I never thought we'd do, and we call it the Skydance Tribe. And it's just, you get these benefits, and our releases are on Friday. You can come in on Thursday and try it if you're a member of the tribe, and you get tall pours instead of short pours for the same price. So we've got a good backing. Those went quick. We sold 200 of them in a week, and so we've got a good support system down there. Got good personnel. You know, it's just fun. I keep saying that because it is. What else? We do distribute through Republic Distribution. We found that we couldn't self-distribute anymore. We grew too fast. So with that, they're helping us get into all the other, the homelands, the on-queues down in Oklahoma City. So they helped us get into those places. We are now expanding east to Tulsa. We've signed some deals over there. We're in the garages, Pub W's, restaurants like that. So we got to move in over there thanks to Republic. These guys are good.
What advice would you give someone who had, like for you, you know, you kind of have this investment opportunity because of relationships you have. Any like, just obviously so far it's gone really well.
Right.
So what did you do right that if somebody else had a similar situation, obviously not here, but you know something else, what kind of advice would you give a future investor?
Well, that's a great question. So Jake and Bobby are probably the perfect partners for me. I'm usually kind of, well, at the golf course, I'm kind of controlling, kind of a butthead sometimes. But yeah, but you know, with them, I don't have to feel like I need to be on top of them. They do everything amazing on their own. When Jake told me his story about his dad, and I was a couple years from losing my dad, and then he told me the story about him and his dad and his whole story. I don't know, something just clicked, and I'm like, I got to invest with this guy. He was passionate. You know, I know everybody starting a new business is passionate about their business, but for some reason, you know, with the limited amount of breweries that are in the state, the native theme that we have and the way we went with that is the reason why we're successful. So if you know, I had the opportunity to invest in something else down there in Oklahoma City, and I was almost about to do it, and then all of a sudden I just kind of lost confidence in the guy I was going to invest in. So I pulled out of it. It's going to be successful, but it's just not me. So you got to look deep down in yourself to see what you want to be associated with. And as an investor, I mean, you need to be proud of what you invest in, I think. I mean, everybody should be. You should be proud in what you do and have a story to tell, and let the people run it if you want them to run it. Just get out of the way. So a lot of breweries have been closed up because you've had people, well, do y'all remember 9-Man Brewing? Okay, so that was Osage. That was the original Osage brewery, 9-Man Brewing. Well, you had two partners. Well, one of them's in jail now because the other one's dead. That's not a good, a good thing. They had a fight over what they wanted to do with their brand, and it turned bad. That's something Jake and I don't argue. We talked, and he's always very open and receptive to my ideas, to a point, because I'm not behind the scenes like he is every day. But we have a great open communication type relationship, and I don't know how to brew. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watch him brew. When I go down there, I'm the grunt. I'm the guy that cleans the equipment, cleans the floors, cleans the bathroom, and you can't wipe the smile off my face because I love it. I mean, I love my job here. I absolutely love working for the city of Ponca City. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a different element. So it's when you find that niche. And there's so many of them out there. That's why people are becoming rich and famous. Just go with it. So.
Are you going to put Skydance beer in the cooler at Wynn's?
I can't.
You can't?
Conflict of interest per the city of Ponca City. I carry Vortex. Like I said, I'm going to support them till the day I die. But we do really well at the country club. According to Chad, we're the #1 beer sold at the country club. So I'll take that.
So running the golf course,
Huh?
the last however many.
20 years. Oh my God.
But obviously you have business sense. I mean, you're not just a good golfer, but
Right.
how'd you have to gear up your business acumen to get you ready to be an investor and a part of this endeavor?
Well, I totally believe that people should do what they love, or else you're in a job that you're trapped in. And when you're in a job you're trapped in, every day you don't want to go to work. You don't have fun. It sucks. The whole process, I took a class at the University Center that Vortex taught about brewing beer one weekend. It was me, Eric Peitz, Jason Snyder, Mark Lavoisier. We're like, hey, let's go brew some beer. And that piqued my interest. My beer came out horrible. I threw it away. I had to dump it. It was just nasty. So I wasn't very good at that, but the whole process of learning the chemistry of how to brew a beer, I liked. I'm not very good at it. I still am not very good at it. I'm great at sampling and giving my thoughts on it. Yep. And so that's what piqued my interest. And that's I have a passion to go down there every time we brew to see how it's done. So I can go through the brewing process, but I can't explain it like Jake can, because he's the one that tells you about the yeast is having sex with itself in the fermenter, and that's where you get the alcohol and blah blah, and you flavor it this way, and you drop the temperature to this, and so I don't know that stuff. I'm trying to watch YouTube videos, to be honest with you, to figure it out. I'm taking a course to become, you have the sommeliers for wine, and I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just going to do the level 1 basic to be able to talk brewery when I'm there. Because when Jake and Corey, my assistant brewer, start talking about what they're doing, and I'm like, what? It's doing what? Okay. So I feel out of place, but it's given me a reason to learn. So did that answer your question somewhat? Okay. Yes.
That's more of a statement, but I love how you followed your passion and you were successful.
Mhm.
So I think that's a good way to sum up what you've been saying today. But from Ponca City, what can we do to help you be successful?
Ponca Plaza, Old West. We just even little things like on Facebook, sharing. share the post. You know, go and like Skydance, share the post, go from there. We're about to start coming in and doing some tastings for some bars around here, so come to that. We've got some set up at the liquor stores and Odie's, and the country club's going to do something with this. You know, just come on out and try. You know, I like seeing the expression on people's face when they try our beer for the first time. How many in here drink IPAs? How many here can't stand an IPA? Okay. So, and I like taking the person that doesn't like an IPA and giving them one of ours to try and to see that expression. So all I'm asking you to do is just try it once. So, and go to Vortex. Keep just support craft breweries. Try it. Try something new. Hold on. As Jake pulls in.